All right, let's start today with a little exercise just for a second. If I say the word Iran, what's the very first image that comes to mind? I'm willing to bet it's a desert. You're probably seeing, rolling sand dunes, maybe a camel.
That's the one. That's the standard image. Intense, dry heat. And, of course, the political headlines.
Exactly. It's beige, it's dry, and it's complicated. But looking at the stack of research and cultural dossiers we have in front of us today, that image is, well, it's not just an oversimplification.
It's like trying to describe the U.S. by only looking at a postcard from Vegas.
Yes. It just completely misses the reality.
It does. And actually, when you dig into these sources, you realize that the monolith idea is, well, it's a myth. Iran isn't one place with one vibe. It's more like 4, maybe even more completely distinct nations living under one roof.
And that is exactly what we're going to unpack in this deep dive. We are going beyond the headlines. We're sort of taking a road trip through 4 very specific regions: the Caspian North, Isfahan, Tehran, and Tabriz.
But not just looking at maps, we're looking at these regions as personalities. The sources we've got treat them almost like characters. We want to explore how the geography, the rain, the mountains, the fault lines created these 4 unique souls.
I love that framing, geography as psychology.
You've got the emotional, rainy north, the disciplined, artistic center, the chaotic, ambitious capital, and the resilient, tough northwest.
Okay, let's jump right in. And we have to start with the region that completely shattered my own preconceptions, the north, along the Caspian Sea, around the city of Rasht. And for anyone still picturing that sand dune, you can just delete that file. We are talking about rain.
Constant, misty, green rain. This is the region of Gilan and Mazandran. And to get the vibe, you have to look at the topography. It's this narrow strip of land wedged between the Caspian Sea and the huge Alborz mountain range.
So the mountains just trap all the moisture coming off the sea.
They trap everything. It creates this kind of greenhouse effect. It's incredibly lush. The notes really emphasize the Hyrcanian forests here.
Which are just, some trees.
No. This is a UNESCO World Heritage Site. And the crazy thing is their age. These forests go back 25 to 50 million years.
50 million years?
Yes. They often call them forests older than memory. They're survivors. During the last ice age, when most of Europe and Asia were frozen over, this area was a refugium, a sanctuary where these ancient trees could just keep going.
That is mind-blowing. And the historical sources suggest this dense vegetation actually shaped the politics of the region, didn't it?
Completely. There's a great line in one of the dossiers. Empires knocked, but the forest said no.
Huh, I love that.
I mean, think about it. If you're an invading army, say, the Mongols, you need open plains for your cavalry. You can't do a heavy charge through a dense, muddy, mountainous rainforest. So for centuries, this place stayed semi-independent. It was a natural fortress.
Which would create a totally different cultural personality. So, Rash, the city of rain. The sources describe the atmosphere there as having a melancholy joy.
It's a very specific mood, and the soundscape is part of it. Because of all the rain, you see a lot of cottages with pitched tin roofs. So the background noise of life is this constant, soft singing of rain on metal. It slows everything down. It makes the culture a bit more introspective.
And there's this fascinating point in the research about a wheat culture versus a rice culture.
This is a key insight. Most of Iran is arid, so it's wheat country. But the north, it's all rice paddies. And that changes how people interact. Growing wheat can be a pretty individual pursuit.
But rice needs everyone to work together.
Exactly. Rice needs complex irrigation. It demands communal labor to manage the water, so it tends to create societies that are more interdependent and a little more relaxed about strict social hierarchies.
The sources describe the vibe in Rasht as warm and informal. And there's this tradition of evening walks in the rain.
You don't hide from the weather, you live with it. And that informality, historically, extended to gender dynamics too. In the rice paddies, women worked alongside men. It just wasn't practical to have strict segregation in the fields. So Rash has always had this reputation for being a bit more socially open.
Okay, we absolutely cannot leave the north without talking about the food. The sources are crystal clear on this. Rasht is the food capital of Iran.
It's a UNESCO creative city of gastronomy, and for good reason. The flavor profile is totally unique. If the desert is about preservation, dried ingredients, the north is all about fresh, sour, and herbal flavors. They use tons of garlic, dill, coriander.
One of the dishes that jumped out at me was Mirza Ghasemi. Just reading the description was amazing.
A total classic. It's smoked eggplant, garlic, tomato, and eggs. But that word smoked is everything. The eggplant is charred right over a flame until the skin is black.
One of the notes described it as smoke in the kitchen, rain on the tiles.
Yeah.
It's like they're cooking the atmosphere.
That's a perfect way to put it. And then you have things like bagala gato faba beans with dill. The motto here, if you had to have one, would be something like, life is wet, so cook something warm. It's comfort food, meant to ward off the chill.
Okay, so from this lush, green, rainy, garlic-loving north, we are now taking a hard pivot. We're driving south, crossing the mountains, and dropping onto the high central plateau. We are heading to Isfahan.
And this is a dramatic shift. The green is gone, the air is dry, and the vibe changes from, wild forest to absolute ordered perfection.
If the north is nature and emotion, Isfahan is about order, symmetry, high culture.
This was the capital of the Safavid Empire in the 16th and 17th centuries.
And there's that famous proverb about the city that was in every single source we looked at.
Isfahan nisfe jahan est.
Isfahan is half the world. That is a serious claim.
It is, but it wasn't just arrogance. At the time, it was a geopolitical reality. Isfahan was a global metropolis, a massive hub on the Silk Road. You'd see Chinese porcelain, Indian spices, Venetian glass, all in the same market. Standing there, you were literally seeing the products of half the world.
The dossiers describe the power of Isfahan as starlight power. What does that mean exactly?
It's about aesthetic power, power built on geometry, light, philosophy. You see it in the architecture, like Nashi Jahan Square, one of the largest public squares on the planet.
And it's also perfectly balanced.
Perfectly. You have the Shah Mosque for faith, the palace for the state, and the bazaar for the economy, all arranged in this perfect harmony.
And the tile work. I was looking at photos of the Sheikh Lutfullah Mosque. The interior. It's just mind-bending. The creams and blues.
It's the peak of Persian Islamic art, but there's a technical brilliance to it, too. Those honeycomb structures inside the domes, the muqarnas, they aren't just decorative, they're acoustic engineering. They disperse sound so a speaker could be heard by thousands without shouting.
Art as technology.
That's Isfahan. And the people there, the sources say they see themselves as stewards.
Stewards of what?
Of high culture, of poetry, calligraphy, proper etiquette. There's a sense of duty to preserve this flame of civilization. To outsiders, it can sometimes feel a bit aloof, maybe. But for them, it's a responsibility.
This refinement even extends to the public spaces. We have to talk about the bridges. The Sio-Siopol.
The Bridge of 33 Arches. In Isfahan, a bridge isn't just for getting from A to B, it's a destination. It's a public living room.
The notes mention people gathering there to sing.
It's an old tradition. The arches create natural amplification again, that obsession with acoustics. People gather in the evenings, sit in the alcoves, and recite poetry or sing. It's that starlight power again. It's slow, you sit, you drink tea, you listen to water and verse.
It sounds idyllic, but I imagine that level of perfectionism has to affect the food, too.
Oh, absolutely. The food is complex. Isfahan is known for a very specific flavor profile. The contrast between sweet and savory. You have to look at koreshi mast.
Which is yogurt stew.
Yes, but if you're picturing something like Greek tzatziki, you are in for a shock. It's bright yellow, sweet, made with yogurt, saffron, sugar, rose water, and shredded lamb neck meat.
Wait, meat in a sweet yogurt dish.
Exactly. It's a medieval technique. The meat is beaten until it dissolves, giving the yogurt this stretchy, rich texture. It's food that says, we have time, we will prepare this properly.
Okay, so we head the wild north, the refined center now. Buckle up. We're going to the belly of the beast.
Tehran. Tehran is the pulse. If Isfahan is a classical violin, Tehran is a driving bass line and industrial noise.
The sources all call it contrast incarnate. It's chaotic, it's polluted, but it's also incredibly vibrant. The vibe shifts from starlight to adrenaline and ambition.
The key theme for Tehran in all our research is duality. The city exists in two dimensions at the same time, the public and the private.
The Velvet Rebellion. I love that phrase. The notes paint this picture of a city that looks gray and concrete on the outside.
Right. Smog, highways, brutalist architecture.
But inside the apartments, it's a completely different universe.
It's a survival mechanism. In public, life is coded. There are strict rules. But in private, behind closed doors, it's expressive. It's feral, as one source put it. You find avant-garde art, wild parties, intense intellectual debate. The concrete walls hide a very colorful life.
And you can see that duality in the skyline.
Yeah.
You have the Azadi Tower versus the Milad Tower.
It's a tale of two eras. The Azadi Tower is from the 70s. It's this gateway that mixes ancient and modern styles. It's romantic. Then you have the Milad Tower, which is just this massive utilitarian telecommunications spike. It's about modern functional power.
But the real heartbeat seems to be this culture of resistance, and not just political protests.
No, it's what some sociologists call silent rebellion. Look at the fashion. Because of mandatory dress codes, fashion becomes this subtle language of subversion. It's about pushing boundaries by millimeters, a slightly shorter coat, dramatic eyeliner, neutral colors outside, but designer brands underneath.
It's a way of saying you control the street, but you don't control my identity.
Precisely. And the music scene is the same. Tehran has this huge underground scene for hip-hop, trap, heavy techno. It all moved into soundproofed basements and private parties. The music is described as coded defiance. It's aggressive. It releases the pressure of the city.
Speaking of pressure, let's get to the food. Tehran doesn't seem like a place for slow, poetic stews.
Tehran is the city of the power meal, and the icon is chelo kebab, skewered meat, a mountain of saffron rice, grilled tomato. It's high-protein, high-energy food for people on the move.
But the detail that I loved was the politics of the tadig.
Ah, the tadig, yes. For anyone who doesn't know, it's that crispy golden layer of scorched rice at the bottom of the pot. In any Iranian meal, that is the prize.
And the notes say it is fought over like inheritance.
It really is, and that captures the Tehran spirit. Resources are scarce in a city of 15 million. You have to be a little sharp, a little competitive to get the best part.
The slang reflects that too, right? Words like befam, get it, but with an edge.
Yeah.
Or bikial, which is like whatever, or let it go.
You need a thick skin. There's this concept called taraf, which is extreme formal politeness. In Isfahan, taraf is a delicate art. In Tehran, it's a negotiation tactic. The city sharpens you.
Okay. Rain, art, chaos. Now for our last stop. We head northwest to Tabriz. And this feels like we're entering another country altogether.
In many ways you are. Tabriz is the crossroads. It's near the borders of Turkey and the Caucasus. The identity here isn't just Persian, it's strongly Azerbaijani-Turkic.
So on the street, people are speaking Azerbaijani-Turkic, not just Farsi.
That's right, it's a bilingual city. And that connection to the Turkic world has always made Tabriz a gateway to the West. Historically, new ideas, the printing press, constitutionalism, often entered Iran through Tabriz first.
The vibe is described as proud but not loud.
It's a merchant city, a major stop on the Silk Road. But the one word that defines it is resilience. Tabriz has a tragic history. It sits on major fault lines. It's been leveled by massive earthquakes again and again.
There's a powerful line here. The city learned to rebuild before it learned to rest.
And that trauma created a culture of stoicism. It's not a delicate city. You see it in landmarks like the Blue Mosque. It was shattered by an earthquake centuries ago and lay in ruins for a long time. Today, you can still see the scars, the missing tiles. It's a broken kind of beautiful, a survivor.
And being a trade hub, we have to talk about the bazaar.
One of the largest covered bazaars in the world. But unlike the one in Tehran, which is chaotic, the Tabriz Bazaar is this serious, well-oiled engine of commerce. It's where that crossroads energy is most alive.
And the people are known for being very direct.
Very. The humor is dry, witty. They don't do the flowery tear-off of Isfahan. They value honesty, hard work. It's a handshake culture. Your word is your bond.
And the food reflects that. This is not light eating.
Not at all. Tabriz has brutal winters, so the food is heavy caloric fuel. The most famous dish is kufta tabrizi,
Which the notes describe as grapefruit-sized meatballs.
sometimes soccer ball sized.
Yeah.
It's ground meat, split peas, herbs, dried fruits, and usually a whole boiled egg or a plum hidden in the center.
A whole egg inside a meatball? That is a commitment.
It is. Eating here isn't a snack. It's survival fuel. It's practical, just like the people.
So let's zoom out. We've got the Caspian North, Isfahan, Tehran, and Tabriz. When you put these four souls together, what does it tell us about the country as a whole?
It tells us that Iran is a conversation. Sometimes it's an argument, but it's a conversation between these competing identities. You have the North, which is the soft edge. It represents nature, emotion.
Then Isfahan, the memory.
Exactly, holding on to history, beauty, structure. Then Tehran is the engine. It's driving modernity, conflict, change. And finally, Tabriz is the backbone, providing the resilience and the connection to the world.
It really shows you can't understand the country just by reading headlines from the capital. The steward in Isfahan has totally different priorities from the rebel in Tehran or the farmer in Rasht.
A nation is never a monolith. It's the friction between these cultural plates. And in Iran, those plates are incredibly distinct.
So Here's the thought I want to leave you with. We talk a lot about the soundtrack of these places. The rain on a tin roof in the north, the echoing poetry in Isfahan, the aggressive bass in Tehran. If cities have personalities, some that shout, some that whisper, how does the soundtrack of the place you live shape who you are?
That's the question. Are you living in a city of driving bass or a city of singing rain? And how does that change the way you think?
Do yourself a favor, go and Google Hyrcanian forests or Sheikh Lutfullah mosque tiles. The visuals just add this whole other layer. Thanks for diving in with us.
My pleasure.
We'll catch you on the next one.